What are the worst chess openings? How bad are they? You may be thinking, so what? I mean, why am I even watching this video? The worst chess openings are the ones that give your opponents too many options. Let me explain. This video will be very useful for you because I'll explain why and how you can avoid them. The first one, let's take it from the black side. Already, you've probably got a headache. I mean, it is just simply ridiculous to see all of these arrows on a board. So let's take it from the top. This is the Sicilian defense, where white plays the open Sicilian, offering a trade. Knight's out, and now a6. This is called the Sicilian Najdorf. Counting it all up, these are all the good options for both sides. White has 10 decent pawn moves. White has 5 decent bishop moves. 2 rook moves. Queen can come to 4 different squares. By totaling that up, I think that's 21 options, and here is actually one more. Retreating the knight deliberately away from the center, so then you can get an attack going. Here, here, there. Very fast attack. So in total, there are actually 22 options. What is the point in playing this opening? How much opening theory are you going to have to learn just to play this opening from the black side? What a joke. If someone told you that you got to play the Sicilian Najdorf most of the time, and you've got to learn 22 different lines, you say, no, chess is not for me. Chess is not for anyone. Too much to learn, mate. No way. Now, I'm going to cut the options. 22 options here, but the truth is, in this position, I would say there are 7 good options. h3 to go g4, get a kingside attack going. f3, the English attack. If you go, let's say here, and then bishop here, something like this. Castle, g4, let's go. What's another decent option? Rook g1 is now really popular. Looks really weird, but it's gaining popularity. I'm going to call that a main line now. 1-2. It's called the freak attack, used by Magnus Carlsen. Used by Jan Nepomniachtchi as well. Get that pawn rolling, get an attack started. One of the ways is actually to commit your h-pawn. So then 1, 2, 3. And then the game goes on, bishop here now. Now you can't actually attack it. And what's another main line? Bishop out. Let's say here. You've got to learn that one as well. Bishop c4, the Fischer Sozin. Bishop e2, the classical way to play. Here, bishops out. Classic way for both sides to put both bishops in the center. So maybe I'm being unfair on the Sicilian Najdorf. Even though I mentioned there are 22 options, the truth is there are 7 popular options. By saying it in this manner, maybe it's not so bad. However, based on psychology, it is terrible. 22 minus 7 is 17. That means I'm saying there are 17 unpopular options. So what do? When you know your opponent plays the Sicilian Najdorf, you pick one of the 17 options your opponent hasn't faced too often. Already, you've got an edge, because you are going to pick that line. Let's say they have never faced rook g1, because you've checked their openings, their database of games. So you go for it. You look into rook g1 and already you've got some edge, some psychological edge over them. So I think that's the big danger. So what am I going to suggest? Because this is also the point of this video. I'm talking about the worst chess openings, but I will give you an option. Instead of a6, the Najdorf, maybe you go dragon. One reason is because white's most popular option is bishop here, here, queen here, castle. The Yugoslav attack. Another option is bishop here. Another option is maybe here. That's less popular, and then you're ready to castle. Those are the most popular ways to play. f4, that's a sneaky one as well. Got to learn that. e5 is very dangerous. So there are 4 options already. So based on cutting it from 22 options to 7 to 4 for the dragon, you can go for that. Another one will be the classical Sicilian, where both of us have got our knights out. Go for this. White has, that is really popular, the Richter-Rauser attack. Maybe the bishop can just come out. f3. Already there are 1, 2, 3, 4 options. Maybe here. But you're not actually threatening to go here because you can take in the center. So 4 options if you go for the classical Sicilian. So those are the 2 I suggest you go for. Next opening for black to avoid. The Grunfeld. Here there are 1, 2, 3, 4 decent options. Now Grunfeld really starts from here, the main line. If you count all the arrows, green, blue, red, there are 6 decent moves. Now we're going to go for the main line. Here, now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 decent moves. That's a really decent move. Used by Vichy Anand to beat Nepo in really quick fashion. That's a dangerous move you got to learn. That's another 4 options. I mean, what's the point? The Grunfeld. No. Just like the Najdorf. No. Don't do it. For beginners, no. Even for higher rated players, no. We take, and now, a couple of main line ideas. 3 ideas really, rather than going for moves, I'm going to go for 3 plans. Bishop here, and now knight e2. White is finding a way to defend the center, black is going to find a way to chip away at the center. That is one plan you've got to learn. Another plan is this, where the knight comes f3, and then bishop here. And if queen here, queen d2. Everything is defending your center. Nothing's being attacked, so you don't need to defend that yet. Another popular response is this funny looking move. Get the rook in the game now. Gotta learn that. That's a sharp line. Here's another one, which I saw Prague use against Aronian. Knight f3, c5, h3. What's this? Small move to stop the bishop coming out. That's one option. Castle, maybe this. And then come back. That's what Prague did against Levon Aronian in the Crypto Cup. So altogether, 6, 4, 3 options, 13 options. No, don't go for the Grunfeld. Don't give your opponent a chance to basically choose so many options. I mean, that's so sharp. Now you got to decide, you wanna do this? Give white the center? You got to learn this? Oh, mate, no. Yikes, too sharp, mate. Or you want to say, well, I'm not going to play King's, I'm going to play King's Indian now. Well, you got to learn that. Maybe you're a Grunfeld player most of the time, but now you got to learn a new opening where this time you actually give white the center, even though there's a pawn here. People actually like going for a King's Indian when white has made a so-called mistake, because the knight should actually come out. You got to make that decision. 13 options. Don't go for this. So instead of that, what else could you go for? Well, you go for the King's Indian instead. Next up, d4, f5, the Dutch opening. Greek Grandmaster Ionu Papagiannis, I'm probably saying that wrong, once said, with the Dutch, the side lines are the main lines. You know there's a problem with an opening when you're going to face the side lines more often. Look at these arrows. All good moves. And a few of these gambits are pretty good. They're pretty dangerous. The Staunton gambit, you got to learn that. Where already you're sacking a pawn. You plan to get it straight away. So you might defend. And then the bishop comes out really quickly. You can't defend like this. Already a trap. Already your position is collapsing. Everything falls. And if you do this, you put pressure already. How dangerous is this? You can't defend again because take, here we go again. It's this trap. Why are you playing the Dutch? Knight here, that's a dangerous line as well. Rather than going for the gambit, this. You want to get in e4 straight away, so you might stop it, but then you have to learn this. How do you play these weird looking double pawns? This structure. What's another one? Well, you've got to learn the London. Oh, you've got to learn that against almost every... If someone plays d4, you're going to learn how to play against London. So here. And if you go g6, well, that's very dangerous. 1, 2. It's so dangerous already. You can't actually do this. Rook sack just like that. Check. So dangerous. Bishop here. Knight in. I mean, white's basically done nothing and white's basically winning. Can't do this. So the Dutch don't go for it. Too dangerous. Not for beginners, not even for advanced players. What's another option? Go d5 instead. And if c4, you can go e6. c6. or my favourite is the Queen's Gambit accepted. Are there a few variations to learn? Yeah, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, mate. Those are the 4 main options. White actually finds a way to get that pawn back. So 4 options. Whereas if we look at this, 1, I mean, I didn't talk too much about this and this. Those are 2 gambits as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bishop here. And 4 is less than 6. You cut the options. That's the whole point of this video, to suggest better openings. These openings are the worst because you give your opponent too many choices. Next one. Now for white. e4, c5. Is it time to go for the open Sicilian? No. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decent options. No. No. Cut the options now. So against the Sicilian, I'm recommending knight c3. 1, 2, 3, 4 decent options. That's it. 4 is less than 6, go for this. And if they play a weird move, I want you to cut the options even more. By playing a sideline, we were talking about this psychology before. Play a line your opponent hasn't faced before. And now you go queen in the center. Here, drop the queen back. You can go bishop here to pin, or you play a sideline, play a weird move. Get the bishop out this way. Now this is a move. f4. Get the bishop out this way. This is a move. f4. You gotta learn this as well. But if they play a normal move here, castle. Right. I mean, this is less to learn already. Knight c3. Here, same thing. This is even better because now you actually attack the rook straight away. They block. You might do the same thing here. Here. Drop the queen back, I mean, and then it's like we get the same thing. Here, too many options, okay? Avoid this. If you play e4 and then knight f3 and then bishop b5, this is called a Spanish. No, don't go for this. At the beginner level, no. At advanced level, yeah. It's time to learn this. Bring this opening into your repertoire. There are 7 options. There are 3 decent pawn moves. Look at the green arrows. 3 decent knight moves. I probably wouldn't call that one decent. That's the bird's defense. The Cosio, that's a cool one. Berlin is too popular. At the highest level, no thank you. And the bishop can come out here. Now, what if you go a6, bishop a4? Okay, 4 options. Castle. Now, open Spanish. b5, bishop c5, archangel. 3 options. 2 options here. Marshall Gambit. That's too dangerous. Gotta learn that. Where black strikes in the center. Take, take. How to react to this? Do you grab the pawn? Well, then you gotta learn this. You attack this here. How do you want to react? This or this? This is now a very popular move. 2 pawns in the center defending that rank. You might be thinking this is popular, but this is more popular nowadays at the highest level. Do you want to go for this? This big theoretical battle? If you're just starting out the game? No. If we go for this, go for the main line. There are now 5 options. This is the Chigorin defense. Hit the bishop, it drops back, the pawn comes in. You want to go back here, this is the Brea opening. The knight, it looks like such a weird move, doesn't it? If you're a beginner looking at this, why is the guy retreating? It's because now the knight rotates to defend the center. Then the bishop is now useful. Remember, the knight used to be here, but now the bishop is attacking the center. Also, there's no knight anymore here, so you can come forward. So that's the Brea defense. Another option, well, you can go bishop here, the Zaitsev. You get the bishop on this diagonal. Rook here, get the bishop out of the way. 1, 2, 3, pressure. Knight can come out the way as well. So that is the Zaitsev, and one more you can play an early h6, the Smyslov defense, where you're actually stopping the knight coming in. I believe that was 5 variations. If we total it all up, 7 plus 4, 11 plus 3, 14 plus 2, 16 plus 5, 21 variations. About similar level as the Najdorf. Avoid the Spanish for now. To give you a recommendation from the black side, it may be one of the worst options to go for white because there's too much choice. So how are we going to react? Are you going to play this? One of the most popular ways to play? No. I suggest the Cosio. It's less popular and it's a decent opening. I played this with black. Now, a couple of options. You can strike in the center, get the knight out. If you castle g6, we're going to get the bishop out, castle, support the center, go. Something like this. Get the bishop out, castle, hit the bishop, it drops back, d6, and lots of options. You defend the center. The bishop might pin. White really should play this move next. Knight a5, hit the bishop. The red arrow shows that, you know what, it's actually an option, mate. It's actually an option to give the center. You know what, this reminds me, yeah, this is what I've done. You give white the center, like in the Grunfeld, which was one of the second openings we saw. Give the guy the center, find a way to attack it. White might have to play this. But these are now targets. And this opening is not so bad. It's not bad at all for black, so that's what I suggest. Reduce the options for yourself. Make the game fun. Go for the deferred Cosio defense. c4. Don't do it. The English opening. Too many options right now. All the green arrows are decent moves. There are 8 good pawn moves. You gotta learn. That's too much, mate. Too much. And 2 knight moves. There are 10 options already. English opening, don't go for it. What am I gonna suggest instead of the English? Knight f3. You may be thinking, well, what's he talking about? It's like the same, isn't it? Look at the blue arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Decent moves. Knight c6 as well. 8. But why am I showing you this? Is because the setup is the same. Here. If black strikes in the center, g3. Bishop g2. And then castle. So even though black has so many options, white is still consistent with their setup. I think that's going to be a key thing in determining what openings you want to play. You want to keep it easy when you start off. You want to make sure you get the opening moves right. And what better way to do that than to study an opening where the setup is basically the same no matter what black does. d3. That's what I'm going to recommend. Now you can go e4 later, but I want to go c4. You get this pawn chain. Nothing to worry about, okay? Nothing to worry about. Big deal, mate. The queen's come off. The game has just begun. Also, black has lost their center pawn. If we go back 2 moves in this position, let's say they don't take, b3. You get triangle center, 1, 2, and then bishop here. This is the key bit. Bishops have come to those squares. You've got your big pawn center, like this. If you take now, you can actually take this way. You get a chain this way. Let's say knight here, they defend, and knight here, the game goes on. Maybe the rook comes to the center, and then the queen actually comes in the corner. Really cool plan where the queen and bishop work well. You might want to kick the bishop away. You might want to put the rook here to defend. You might want to get the knight in the center. So let's say black plays a move like this. Knight here, take, take. That's one option. This is a really nice option as well. I've said avoid the English, giving you this other option. You want to go d4, c4? Those are the green arrows? No. Still go g3. Lots of options with black, doesn't matter. If black copies you, I want you to go b3. I've tried this before. In blitz games, in bullet games, it really does work. It really does work. Double fianchetto like we saw in the previous line. Bishop here, bishop here. The green arrow shows the bishops compete with each other on the same diagonals. And here we have it again, a double fianchetto. d6, maybe black wants to get the center, so he might go d4. Control the central squares, castle, c4 next, the game continues. If you go d4, and then c4 is the main line. If you look at the options, this looks pretty decent, doesn't it? Black has a few decent moves. 1, 2, I'm going to include that one, 3, 4, 5. Now the big ones are the blue ones. Benko Gambit and Budapest Gambit. Now, if you don't want to learn how to play against gambits, you've got to avoid it. Something like this. Maybe play this move to avoid the Benko. Cut it out. Avoid the Budapest, and the Benko. That move really cuts it out. Reduce the options for yourself. But there's 6 options if you want to go c4. So that's not bad. However, you want to reduce it even more, mate. Go bishop f4. Go for the London. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the main options. You might even go here, B6. 4 to 5 options. That's decent. Here, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like this. Something like this. Here, I want to create a cool segue for the next bit. Here, this, 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 take, take. And this is going to lead to my next video. I presented the worst openings. You want to be inspired by Magnus Carlsen and 2 top Indian grandmasters? Then this video is going to be a great one to watch next.